D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I finally finished Rings of Power. I'm ready to do each episode one at a time because you guys, it's a slog to get through these episodes. I'm not going to lie. I started and stopped these like so many times. And finally, I was just like, I don't even know how to do this. Like I was going to just, give a short review, which is still be short, a breakdown and review and everything. But while I was watching this, because I went in with bias, I'm not going to lie, and everything, because I really like, the Lord of the Rings trilogy and all of Tolkien's work and everything, even the stuff that, that Christopher Tolkien finished and everything, like the Silmarillion and the appendices and all that stuff. I really liked it. And so with this show, I was just wondering, like, who is this show for? Is it for normies? Because I can tell you right now, normies, for instance, like my wife, they didn't know about this show until I said something. And I asked people that I work with, none of them knew, but they're like, what is that? And I'm like, yeah, it's a show on Amazon about Lord of the Rings. Like, oh, okay, maybe I'll check it out. And then I was like, okay, is this for Tolkien fans? And I don't know. I don't think it's for Tolkien fans, because Tolkien fans are just like, if you're not going to stay true to the spirit of Tolkien, then don't make it. The Lord of the Rings trilogy by Peter Jackson, Christopher Tolkien didn't like it, and I'm pretty sure J.R.R. Tolkien wouldn't have liked it. But I do think that he did it in the spirit of Tolkien and his work. And then and then you got the Lord of the Rings fans that just watch the movies and they like the movies and everything. And it's probably for them. But even there, I just go, I don't know. This show is unrecognizable in terms of that stuff. I mean, it's in name only, because like these characters are not, like, I'm sorry, they're just not recognizable to me. And I'm just like, in the way they act and the way they go about things, the way they say things and stuff. And so then I was thinking about, like, okay, so after watching these two episodes, the budget. Okay, so they spent $60 million an episode. That is so much. That's the most anybody's ever spent on an episode of television. And even though this show is beautiful, and we'll talk about that as we go along, there's no substance to the show. It's boring. The whole time I was just like, I cannot. I'm like I said, I had to stop and start. And that's why this is so late. And I'm probably not going to get a bunch of views because, everybody's seen it that wants to see it. And I just can't handle it. I'm just like, this is so bad. It's just so bad. So now let's, and then one thing I want to just talk about is Lord of the Rings mythology. Now, if you love canon and lore and continuity, then it is impossible to like this show. But if you are one of those people that can suspend, canon and continuity and lore and all that stuff, then this is probably going to be more up your alley. But like I said before, this episode was just boring, and so it was the second episode. But we'll get into that when we get to that one. All right, so now that I've said all that, let's jump into this breakdown. I'll make this as quick as possible, just because, but I promise I'll be better than the actual episode. But before I get started, though, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get started. So it starts off in Valinor, the Undying Lands, and these kids are just playing, these little elven kids, and then you see Galadriel, and she's all playing and everything, and she's whispering, and he's like, and then this guy's all like, is it done? She turns around and she's made a little boat, she puts it in the water, and it turns into this swan, very cool kind of thing or whatnot. And then they start throwing rocks at it and they sink it. And I'm like, oh, Galadriel's getting bullied. Of course she is, because she's, strong and independent. And she starts fighting him until her brother comes along, and he's all like, let's go. And this is Finrod. She has two other brothers, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to be in this show and everything. It's so weird. Anyways, so he tells her something, along the lines of, you know why the rock sinks? Because it's attracted to the darkness. And you know why the boat floats? Because it has nothing to look up to the light and everything. But it floats because it touches the darkness. And I'm like, oh, get the hell out of here. with your very thin robes talking to a girl like you're all like, I don't know, weird, like, if you get what I'm saying. So then he walks over the hill and we see Valinor and the two trees. The two trees look very cool. Like they look very cool. I like that a lot. And that's where this is stuff like this is where they spent all that money because we're gonna get into and some of the, you know, the this is the prologue. So then it talks about how the trees gave light, and then there was Morgoth, and I didn't get a picture of it, which I wish I, but we got a silhouette of Morgoth. And then they talk about how they left Valinor in these boats. These boats look bad. These look like a video game kind of thing. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So they leave Valinor, the Undying Lands, to go to Middle Earth, where they talk about how they found creatures that they've never seen before and all that kind of stuff. So then this shot right here of the dragon attacking the eagle was very cool, and the eagle lands and everything. Here's her brother, and he's fighting everything, and he dies. This, by the way, this is not how he dies in the. Hold on, did I get one? This is not. We'll go back to the. So they retreated because they won, but Sauron, is you know, gathers them kind of thing, and that's actually not that bad. I think his helmet looks a little bit more like the books than it did in the original, in the Peter Jackson movies, but it looks pretty. It looks from this, what we can see of this, his silhouette, it looks good. So Finrod actually gets killed by werewolves. I believe, yeah, werewolves in the books. And maybe that's what these little scars are, but yeah. And he gets the symbol of Sauron put on and everything. She takes this little knife of his right here, and she starts up his crusade. I'm like, why? So then they're looking for him. They're climbing up that. She does some defying gravity here, and they make it to the top and everything. And they're like, we've gone further than we were supposed to go. And she's like, we're gonna find this fortress. And so they're hunting along. Oh, one of her people falls, and she's like, leave them and everything. I was like, oh, way to have some empathy, you fucking asshole. And then they find the fortress, and they go in and everything. And she says something like, the guy's all touching the flame, and he's like, my hands have gone numb and everything. She's like, no. She's like, it's the cold. It's so you know, dark here that the light can't pierce your skin or some crap like that. I'm like, okay. Anyways, so they find the symbol of Sauron here, and then a snow troll pops out and everything. There it is, Arrgh, and everything. So they start fighting it, and of course this guy, and this popped up online because it was on an ad or whatever, like a European ad or whatever, and she runs up and then friggin', you know, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragons it, and jumps up, and she just kills this troll all by herself because she's Galadriel, warrior princess. Look at you, and everything. So then she's like, we need to keep going. We need to go further north. And they're like, no, we quit. Because we quit. We're not doing it. And there's the symbol. And then you get these two hunters, and this white one's all like, oh, you got to watch out for those Harfoots because they'll eat your bones or some crap like that. And he's like, you're playing. He's like, all right, let's get out of here and everything. And the Harfoots, the hobbits that you can't call hobbits, are hiding. And look at that hat. It looks so stupid. 60 million on that. Anyways. And they pop up in their little thing. He pulls out his book, and he's like, I'm looking up at the sky and stuff. And I'm all like, and then these two, and he's like, he's telling these, go away, woman, and everything. And they're like, all right, and everything. Then we get, what is her name? The Brandyfoot. Shoot, I can't remember her name. She's annoying. I don't like her. This one who looks like Helena Bonham Carter, but like, you know, poor. She is all like, what's her name? Like Brandyfoot or something. Brandyfoot, I like that. So they're going to get berries. She's going with her little like fat friend. They're just the new Sam and Frodo. I'm all like, whatever. It doesn't even matter. Nori is her name. Nori. So, and Brandyfoot is her last name. Anyways, so they see some footprints, and there's like, up here is like this wolf. I'm curious, is this, and then they leave, and the wolf is all like sniffing away and everything. And I'm curious if this is a werewolf, their version of what the werewolf would look like, or is this a warg, or just, you know, plain old wolf. They're ugly because we've seen them in the trailers, and they're just ugly. So then this is Elrond, he's writing a poem, and then she's all like, they won't let you come to the council meeting of the lords, and Galadriel's here. And he's like, she's here, why didn't you say so? And I'm all like, she did say so. She just told you. So he goes, this is Lyndon. And they come in and he's like, commander of the Northern Armies. And I'm all like, oh, get out of here. I'm like, this is stupid. And he's all like, oh, they're talking about going to Valinor. And they're like, I hear that you're bathed in light. And there's a song that all of us remember instantly and everything. And so then she talks about how she wants to keep going because she thinks that Sauron is still out there and crap like that. And she found the symbol and everything. And then Nori's mom is talking to her. She's all, this is what we saw from the trailer. And she's all like, humans have their fields, dwarves, their caves, elves, their trees. We just have each other and we're safe and everything. And I'm all like, oh, please. Which, by the way, this is her dad right here. And this is her mom. And she is white as shit. How is she mixed right now? I'm just saying. So then he is honoring Galadriel and her men. And he's like, we are now at a time of peace. And she almost doesn't like bow to put the crown on and everything. But then she gives up and everything. She submits. And then he's like, because you guys did so great, I'm going to let you go home to Valinor. Now, I don't know if this show is up in the air, so I don't know what they're trying to do, but I don't know if he did it to get to reward her or get rid of her because she's a Karen. She's very much a Karen. Like, I'm all like, can you please get the hell out of here? You know, YouTuber Grace Randolph said she was a Karen and a Mary Sue, and it's so true. She's like the worst. I hate Galadriel in this. Yeah. So then he's like, we finally got peace. And I'm like, for you. And the fireworks. And then she sits here and she's talking about, you know, when you die in battle, you get carved into these trees. And I thought I would die in battle and be carved into these trees along with my brother. And you're like, oh gosh. And then he's all like, put up your sword, Galadriel. And she's all like, you have not seen what I have seen. He's like, I have seen my share. She's like, you have not seen what I've seen. If I hang up my sword, who am I? And I'm like, you're Kate Blanchett from Lord of the Rings, who is awesome. That's the problem. They don't understand how awesome Galadriel is in the books. She's so good, and she doesn't need to pick up a sword to be so good. Anyways, so we hop over to the southern lands, and we get these two elves, and they go into this little bar where this guy's upset for no reason. And here we get, what is her name? She's a single mom, and she's a healer. I'm trying to look up her name right. Bronwyn, look at that. And then he's all like, you know, he's checking her out and everything because he wants to give her that thick D, you know what I'm saying? That elven D. And he's all like, this one talks about how there was some poison land or whatever. And he's all like, where is it? And he's like, it's just a patch of grass. And then this kid gets all pissy with him for some weird reason, calls him knife ears. Ooh, sweet burn. And I can't remember. He's like, it says something, everything. And this guy almost punches him, but then the elf stops him, like stops his hand. And I was all like, oh, this is so stupid. So he goes outside to hit on this lady, Bronwyn, and he's like, yo, girl, I want to get you pregnant. I want to take care of your babies. And oh, sorry, my arrow's in the way. And then he goes back and his friends are like, dude, I can't keep this up. Okay. I can't keep lying to our commander and stuff because you're trying to get with that sweet poon and she's like not an elf and it's never worked out before, but it will. So they go back to their little tower, their little base and everything. And they've been there for like 79 years, I think they said. And they finally get the orders that they're going to be able to go home, that the war's over and everything. So they don't have to stay here anymore. And he's like, what? So then his little commander guy comes up and he's like, you taking a last look? And he's like, yeah, we're going home, punk. Okay. Sauron's gone. We're all good. And see right here, this is actually beautiful too. This is where they spent the money. And I'm all like, this could have been just a map painting. You know, you guys like spent so much money and you forgot to write a good show. So Bronwyn here's her son. Her son's a little dick. And they're making some kind of potions and lotions and everything. And he pops in. He's like, what is he doing here? And I'm all like, calm down, kid. You're so angry for no reason. So she's like, what are you doing at my home? And he's like, I came to say goodbye. And then her son's like, there's a man here to see you. And he's like, you also look at animals. And she goes to look at the cow. And he grabs the udder and he squeezes it and this nasty like stuff comes out. It would gross me out. I can't look at it. And he's all like, what is that? And he's like, oh, and they talk about how he wandered east towards Mordor. And so then the son sees all this, and then him and that little friend, the one from the bar, they're all chit-chatting, and he gets out the sword of Sauron, and he cuts this kid. So I don't know if that means anything or what's going to happen. And then that kid runs off, and then he sees the symbol and it glows red. And then we hop over to the boat where they're all just standing there like little weirdos, just waiting to get over there. It's so far away. Like when you all just sit down, you're just gonna stand there the whole time. And then you have these little maidens here. Are they going with? Is this like they're going to Valhalla and you take a woman with you, like a sacrifice, so she can be with you in the afterlife, be your sex slave? Who does she get? Huh? So he's all like, she's gone from my sight and everything. I'm like, oh, it's ripped right from Lord of the Rings. And then Gil-galad is sitting here talking to him. That's Gil-galad, by the way. And he basically says to him, if we keep looking for Sauron, then Sauron's gonna come back. But if we leave him be, he'll stay at be and everything. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. And that's why, we got to stop looking for him. And he's like, and here's my good friend. And this is, oh my God, Celebrimbor. I always say it wrong. And he is like the best forger or whatnot. And so then we get this Harfoot. I can't remember his name. There's so many in here and this guy's made up. All the made up people I don't remember. Like the black elf. His name is like Eleanor or whatever. Eleanor. We're gonna call him Eleanor for now. So he's all like, oh, what's going on over there? And she's like, what's the sky saying? He's like, mind your business. He's like, the skies are strange. And I'm all like, yeah, I don't need a book to tell me that or to look up. I can just tell you the skies are strange. So these two go and they're looking for the town and they find it and it's been taken down. So we leave the Southlands and we go back to the boat with the elves and they're getting their armor taken off, which does not look that good. And these ladies are stripping them. And she tries to take her dagger. And she's like, hold up, bitch. And he's like, Galadriel, let her have it. And she lets it go. And she looks into the light. And they're all like, oh my gosh. They all start singing, which creeped me out. I was like, when they're all like, Nama, Nama. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? She did not start singing. She was all like, I don't have a lovely singing voice. And then this sky vagina just opens right up and lets out its burst of rays. And they're all like, oh, I love it. Which, sky vaginas, I get it. And she's looking at her dagger and she remembers what her brother said about how the reason the boat floats is because it's always looking up at the light, but it like has to touch the darkness or some crap like that. And Gil-galad, he they all see this meteor fall down to Earth. Oh, look, and that right there, this tree moved, and it hugged this tree. So I think these are the Entwives or the Ents. It might be both, And then she's gonna go touch the dude that's like her friend or whatever, like one of the dudes that she commands. And then she sees the dagger and she remembers what her brother said. Adorable. And then that lands and explodes. Oh gosh, I didn't get it. And then she jumps into the water. Great plan, by the way. Great, like so good. And then the sky vagina like closes up. And then she's just stuck in the water, like, hey, just chilling out in the ocean. just having a good time in the ocean. I hope a shark doesn't eat me, which is the next episode. Anyway, so he picks up this leaf and it just like turns, all this stuff comes in and then it just turns black. Foreboding. And then these Harfoots, they go to where the meteor land and it's a man. Dun dun dun. And that's the end of the episode. And I just have to say, like I said before, it's just the money I don't think is looking well spent up to this point. And again, I don't know who this show is for. I don't really care, but I just don't know who this show is for. And from this episode alone, it was just boring, straight up boring. And I don't know how they can pull this out and not make it so bad. It's just bad. But what are you gonna do? Hey, listen, if it ends up being better, like to the point where I can say it's good, I'll tell you, I'll be honest about it. But at this moment in time, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. All right, you guys, I'll be more like energetic right now. It's just a little bit late at night because, like I said, it took me so long to get through these episodes because they were so boring. Like, you have no idea. I was like, I watched one of them like while I was about to go to bed. I was like, oh, I'll pop this this second episode in, and I was just like, I did not need help getting to sleep. So, all right, you guys. So that's my breakdown and review of episode 1. Episode 2 is right behind this one. Tell me, guys, what you guys thought about this, and I'll see you guys next week on my breakdown and review of Rings of Power. It'll be better than this one. But anyways, all right, check you guys later. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys on my next Rings of Power breakdown and review. You guys have a good day. Bye.